Morning, this is Navy Old Salt Gamer. I'm back on my moon base. This is the continuation of the Stationeers 101 series, so if you like this, please subscribe and like. And in this one, we're going to talk about rocket assembly. Now, I think I got everything I need for rockets here. We'll do this real quick. There's your avionics. I have some tanks. I think I have too many tanks. I kind of fell asleep while I was printing them. Cables, 2 data links. They do not stack, I don't think. Oh, maybe they do. They do. Okay. No, they don't. Data link. Come on, let me stack them. Well, it says stack of 1, but 2 rocket batteries. Launch mounts. I'm using pressure-fed gas engine. You got a scanner head. Now on the moon, I won't have to use insulated tanks because there's no heat loss. So I should be okay. So I'm just going with regular tanks. Got 5 fuselages. I think that's enough, and I might need more of those. The scanner, an ice head, a drill head, and a bunch of steel, which I probably need more of, and a stack of electronic parts. A launch tower. I got 5 of those. I think that's what I need of those. A storage. And I brought out some volume pumps and some regulators, which I'll use inside the rocket. So that is, I think, what I need. Now I set up the base here, got a little flat space here where I'm going to put the rocket. So I'm going to assemble this, and I'll be right, well, not right back, because it's going to take a while, but I'll be back. Okay, so I am back. Now, a couple things I did forget. Is the umbilicals. I have a chute, an electric, and a gas, and you need 2 of those. You need one for the launch mount and the other one for the rocket. Now, I'm going to try and keep this relatively quick, so let's start with the gas first. So the gas is going to come into here and go in through here to this tank. And this is going to be my main storage tank, and I'm also going to be able to pressurize my 4 smaller tanks. It's around 60 megapascals. If you were in a planet with oxygen, that would be moaning and groaning, but I usually go to about 55-ish, so I don't blow a tank. Now, initially, this is all going to pressurize. Now, when I'm burning, this is going to keep these up here pressurized to around, we'll say 55 megapascals for now. So while the rocket is burning, this turbo pump is going to keep these 4 small tanks pressurized to 55 megapascals, which is then in turn going to come down and feed the rocket. So hopefully you can understand that. Again, I'm trying to keep these relatively quick. So that's the gas section. Going to be pre-mixed gas going in, main storage tank. This turbo pump is going to pressurize the 4 smaller tanks, which is going to fire up the engines. Okay, that was that part. Hopefully that made sense. Now, power-wise, this is the toughest part of banking a rocket in my book, is running all the cables. So I have the electronics coming in here, charging this battery, charging that battery. Now you got to make sure you got the inputs and outputs right here. Notice this should, I probably won't be able to see it. Let's say input, yeah. So I get the input to an output to an input to an output. So but these 2 batteries are going to charge, and then they're going to basically wire everything up, including the rocket, all my miners, all my scanners. We'll cover that in a second. And the 2 necessary things that you have to have, that you got to find a spot for, is again the downlink, which is here, and the avionics, which is here. I've got them connected in the back, and as long as you have the avionics and everything connected to the output of the batteries, which is up here, then you'll be able to see and monitor everything that's going on in your rocket. Now, that's the power. And I don't want to cover that too much. Basically, you just wire everything up. And you can control all this from the data link down below. Now, for this rocket, I put a scanner on it. You need a rocket scanner, you got to scan everything first. So I put a scanner on it just because I had enough room. I have one scanner. Don't think I could fit 2 scanners in here. I might be able to. If I can fit 2 in here, you scan faster. Possibly over here. I may have to do that. But anyway, I got one scanner in here. You scan it first. And I got 2 miners in here. Now I'm going to be doing liquid first. So this is an ice miner. I got 2 of them going. And you see I got them side by side. And this is my cargo chute. So I got both the outputs of the miners going into one cargo chute. And then of course my cargo umbilical is right here. So when I unload, I can unload through here. None of this is wired up yet with power. I'm just showing the assembly here. So I think that covers everything. I could do a quick scan around. You can see here's the storage chute, 2 rocket miners, the 2 batteries in, I believe this is series, one right after the other. Don't quote me on that. I'm not an electrician. So that's this two parts of it. And then you got my gas tank, which I think is the most confusing, but that's the trickiest that you got to set up carefully. And doing all this out of memory, I'm going to test it tomorrow. It may not work, but I think I'm okay. But the confusing part, again, the gas input here goes into this rocket, and I can also pressurize my 3 rocket feeding tanks. That's what I basically call those. And then I take the output of the 3 tanks, which are all interconnected, and run it down to the rocket. And I could pre-pressurize these to 55 along with this. And then, as the rocket is burning and it's not connected to anything, it takes fuel out of here and keeps these pre-pressurized to feed the rocket. Otherwise, if you don't have this at pressure, you don't get enough thrust. So you got to make sure you keep a backup tank system to keep your rockets pressurized. Now, if you can figure out a way to do this all at once, that's fine, but this is the way I like to do it. I set up an IC chip to keep this turning off and on, to keep this pressurized while the rocket is flying. So there you go. That is the Rocket Assembly 101. You can do this any way you want, and there's probably 100 ways to do this better. It's a lot easier on the moon because there's very low gravity. Some of the planets like Mars, you have to be a little more careful because you got to be able to land your rocket, and the gravity's stronger, and it takes more fuel, and it takes more lift and that type of stuff. So this should work on the moon pretty well. We'll see what happens. I'll test it in the next episode. Rocket assembly is complete. Theoretically, I'll have it all wired up. I've got to do a lot of mining for volatiles and oxygen. I'll have to put the tank somewhere. Well, I'll figure that out. But I got to fill oxygen and pressurize the tanks, and then we'll go from there. I'll see you tomorrow. Again, remember, like and subscribe.